Climate change is a global challenge, so to tackle it effectively and reduce emissions, you need a global agreement and all countries working together. I have been spending time with counterpart environment and foreign ministers over many months and have been discussing what other countries, comparable economies, our competitor trading partners and major developed countries as well as developing countries are doing in this space. As recently as last week, I had very detailed discussions with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and Secretary of State John Kerry on a global agreement and the possibility of achieving a global agreement in the lead up to the climate change meeting in Paris in December. Our target range of 26 to 28% with 2005 as a base by 2030 means that we will take to Paris a strong and credible, environmentally and economically responsible position. It means that Australia, responsible for 1.3% of the world's emissions, as the 13th largest emitter in absolute terms, is doing our bit, and that's what matters. Like our 2020 target, our 2030 target range of 26 to 28% is ambitious. It's comparable with other countries when you compare like with like. For example, the European Union have announced a 40% reduction but below 1990 levels. If you translate that into 2005, it's a much more modest reduction. We have taken into account our economic growth, our population growth. It's higher than most OECD countries. And as a result, as the Prime Minister said, our per capita emissions will reduce more sharply. Indeed, we will halve emissions per person in Australia over the next 15 years. And that is more than any other major economy or any other comparable nation. We are a country that sets credible, achievable targets, and we meet them. We exceeded our first Kyoto target when many didn't meet theirs. We're on track to meet our 2020 target. We have put forward a target that for 2030 that is credible and achievable. 50 countries have announced targets in advance of Paris, and so it's appropriate that now that we have party room backing that we should announce our target now, and I will be submitting this to the United Nations shortly. In Paris in December, the aim is to produce a global agreement that delivers effective and fair and economically responsible climate action by all countries. It will also establish a framework for further action to address the below 2 degree goal. Why do we need a new framework, global agreement? Well, if you look at Kyoto in 1992, at that time, 3 of the top 12 emitters were non-industrial or developing countries. Today, 7 of the top 12 emitters are the non-industrial developing countries, making up about 2/3 of global emissions coming from the developing world. So things have changed. It's time for a new agreement, a global agreement where all countries take action. Australia is playing a very positive role in the lead up to Paris, and we believe that a strong agreement that includes all countries is achievable, and it's most certainly in Australia's national interest.